The Covert Narcissist. Let's talk about that today. I know this is a biblical channel, but I believe that covert narcissists were always with us, and I believe overt narcissists were always with us. And to think otherwise, and to think that there wasn't, it's just the way humans are. It's a way that it's a genetic factor, it's an environmental factor, it's a bunch of things, but it's things that happen in childhood, things at certain ages. It could be abuse, it could be a whole bunch of things, but you can see examples in the Bible of both overt and covert narcissism. And the reason why I think that it is biblical today is because of connectivity. It's quite obvious. You hear a lot. If you're searching out covert narcissist videos and you want to know a little bit more, I am no expert by any means in this, but I spent quite a bit of time learning about it, and I dealt with one. And looking back in my life when I didn't have pain and I dealt with people, to be honest, I don't remember dating a covert narcissist. I don't remember being around anything that I might remember of someone who was. And that's one reason why I was taken off guard, because I didn't recognize that a person... I'm well aware of the things that a man or a woman can do, that they can get angry at you, they can argue, they can purposely argue, they can do those types of things. But what I didn't know, and actually what exalted my life, I'm not joking, my life was exalted beyond measure by God. I believe God wanted me to know this is what someone can be like. Your boundaries suck. Your boundaries suck, Dave. And so I realized that, and I don't want to get into the person. I don't like doing that. But the way it is that they don't want you to speak about them, number one, which I don't do that, okay? I don't believe in putting something down on someone like that. And if you know me by some reason and you know who it is, well, I don't do that on purpose. Lost my train of thought there, but there's still a lot of stuff to say here. I just never realized. I'm trying to do this with my teeth in, okay? So, and it's harder to speak, and I have a voice disorder, so it makes it even harder. I didn't know there were people out there that could be this way. The evil. When I say evil, I mean it personified, like it's amplified. Something that you never knew from the moment someone meets you. From the moment someone meets you, that they're targeting you. If they've stumbled across you because of you, because you met them, you bumped into them, you knew someone else, and then you're like, oh, I knew that person too, because there's social media. Social media, boy, man, it's just, whatever it is, pardon me, I'm trying to think of the right, I keep getting derailed in my own mind. Whether it's you that meets them, but it's probably the other way around. That's what I'm guessing. It's probably the other way around. I'm going to give you an example of this. So it may be that you have bumped into them and then you started talking that way. From the very beginning, they have horrible agenda for your life. They may be idealizing you, but that's quickly going to turn into complete black and white thinking. And by the littlest things you don't even mean to do, it could be a little slight. They never forget. They never forget. They put that away in their mind, in a file in their mind, and that's what they do. Pardon me. I'll say this, that as a born-again Christian, if you're a born-again Christian man or woman, and you're searching and you're hoping for love again in your life, I'm going to tell you straight up, can two walk together and not agree? You know that's from the Bible. And you're going to find yourself in a lot of difficulty with that. It doesn't work. There are some cases that work, but it's very few and far between. You know, I don't want to give, that's for a whole separate video, but if you're searching for love, you know, wait for God. Wait for the right time in your life that you think you can have a relationship when you're ready, and don't just leave it in God's hands. You can also go out to church, you can go out, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of women I could fall in love with very easily, but they're not of God. They're not of God. They may be very nice and stuff like that, but and even if they said, you know, I believe in God, do they show it? Do they really strive? Those are the people you want to be around. Okay. So back to covert narcissism. Where do I go from here? So, when you first meet them, I want you to know that most likely when you look back at how you met, you were probably targeted, and the intricacies of these dynamics of the way that they approach a person is so widely varied. They may come up with a million ideas to bump into you, to have the same sweater as you, to be the same. Oh, you like that? I like this too. And oh, what a coincidence, because they looked in your profile, they learned about you, and those are the same types of things. You may have seen this. Listen, I gave up social media as far as not this channel, and I have some other channels that I do, you know, productive things. But I gave up Facebook, you know, except for, you know, selling things and stuff like that. But I noticed, and this is just another reason to stay away from this stuff, messages, okay, messages that I had said on someone's profile that they said 4 or 5 years ago, they were being answered. They were being answered only now. You know, like say last year or this year or whatever. I still have some messages coming through, but I just don't ever react to them. Of some beautiful women. And I don't know if they are real people, but I believe some of them are. And this is what they do. They'll compliment you to pull you in. They don't care, you know, they would rather have someone who's attractive and has money, but that's not just what they're after. It'd be nice to have them all, right, as a covert narcissist, but you have to remember this, that these people, they focus, like you and I need food to live, and we need the Word of God to live. For them, because they were raised in this way, maybe through watching parents fight, through abuse, they learn to abuse. This is reality. I've studied this stuff. I've passed these classes, so I have really studied these things, and all on my my own time as well too. that this is what happens. Abuse begets abuse, because that's what they learn to do. Just imagine a world where what we love nice things, we love good, but they love evil. They really love evil. They probably like good things too, but for different reasons. I was watching a video yesterday, very interesting, by Lisa Bilyeu. You may have watched that channel. I don't I don't spend a lot of time in other channels that are not of God, but there's some interesting stuff. And there was an FBI negotiator, and man, he knew a lot of stuff. Lisa Bilyeu and her husband has also a podcast. They're both pretty popular. Tom Bilyeu, if I say that correctly. Let me take a sip of water here. The emotions that you and I have, okay? So, what did he name? He named 5 core emotions. I don't know if I can remember them all, but, there's disgust, joy, fear, empathy, and I forget the last one. I don't want to get into it really, but to let you know that we still share the same emotions as a covert narcissist, and the one that they lack is empathy. They lack empathy. Genetic and environmental. That's a dangerous situation. I'm not saying all are, okay? I'm definitely not saying that, but it's unfortunate that most of them do this pathway, and they want to they focus, like you and I live off of food, water, and the Word of God. They live off of positive but also negative energy. So when you find you're in a cyclical, non-stop, argumentative stage, you cannot get through to them or justify anything. They're laughing. They like it, and it's you realize these things too late. And I'm going to make this very clear to you. And I made a video about this, and I got, I don't get many views, but that got a number of thousand views because this one was pretty important, and it was the most destructive. So I don't know how many covert narcissist and narcissistic videos you've watched, but you've probably not seen many of this. And I realized this, and this is why I did the video. It's called, this is their biggest tool, I believe, to drag you in. It's called conversational inducement. So people who are searching, I'm going to go the gray rock method. There is no way to go but no contact. Unless you're in a certain situation, you have to slowly make your way out. You have to make a plan to get away. But when you do get away, if no contact, man, don't ever talk to them ever again. Don't do it. The Hoover and the emails, do not. And record them all, please. Record them all, because you might need them later. Conversational inducement. So when you finally get into that stage of not talking, say you go no contact, they're going to have a narcissistic injury. And through that, they're going to panic, they're going to do all sorts of things. They're going to say, I'm sorry. Some of them have no trouble saying I'm sorry to meet their better end. Where you could not, through anything you did, through emails, through long messages, it may have been 3 pages, man, justify to them why you didn't do anything. It's going to go nowhere. And then when you cut that tether They see the light, right? Oh man, I see what I did wrong, I'm sorry. They're trying to pull you back in, and they do through hoovers and stuff like that. Calls, they're probably going to set your phone on fire for years. They're going to do prank calls. They're going to sit on the other end of the line. You're going to see strange things come through channels like this. Okay, you're going to see all sorts of things. But don't fear, because you have God on your side. For those who do, for those who believe in the only Son of God, of what He did, and you have faith. Pardon me again. I know a lot of people listen to these kinds of videos. I guess that's one of the reasons that I'm making this today. But I want people to know, I don't like putting these on my channel, these ones, but it has to be, you may be in a position where you love God and you've been taken away from God because the devil sent you a devil. The devil sent you a devil because you were getting close to God. That was my case. I was just starting to get into it. And even when I was engaging with them, I was still off and on reading the Word of God. Not to say I didn't understand it, but always have to, you just remember the stories, right? You can understand certain things, but like the totality of the Bible and what prophecies and stuff. What would I say next? I don't plan these. I don't. I just come. I get an idea. Lord, give me an idea. Conversational inducement. I didn't finish that off. This is probably the most powerful tool they have when they're not. So you've broken contact. So when they're in the position, oh no, it happens in both, but it is their most powerful tool when you've broken contact. Conversational inducement. There's not enough spoken about this. What that means is they will do anything to pull you back in with like a fishing rod. They're putting out their hooks, and they'll do it with positive and negative energy. Be careful. So you finally you understand what's going on, but you still have this bond with them because they have created a trauma bond, right? They're gaslighting you, they're doing all these different things. They'll say certain things. That's why you don't read the stuff that they send you. Don't read it, but keep it. Save it. You're going to be tempted. I'm telling you, you never want to go back because your life is going to get so much better. So much better. You're going to notice your health gets better. Conversational inducement, they'll do anything to get your attention because they know they are master manipulators. That's all they're good at. That's it. That's all they have. They're a one-trick pony. They are a one-trick pony. But they're very good at it. I don't even like saying that. They'll do anything because once they pull you back in, their manipulation tactics begin again, and then they want to finish the job on you. There's people out there like this. Trying to think. So if you were like me, I was in a bad position before I met this person. I didn't have diagnosis. I wasn't treated properly. Man, I was in a lot more pain than I'm in right now. That's kind of hard, but when I recognize that my meds are better and I'm healthier and stronger. But I was in a position where I wasn't mentally well because I was constantly thinking in my head of these diagnoses that I didn't have yet. There were like 7 or 8 of them, and it hurt me emotionally. I was devastated because I didn't know what they were. It really took me for a ride. And because I was in that state, it's like when you first meet them, you have no excuse. I have no excuse because I saw the red flags. I knew within a short while that there was something wrong. But I ignored them because I'm not going because I was attracted to them, because I ignored that there were, more than, there are, where's this child from? Where's this child from? Where's this child? Different mothers, different fathers. Oh, that, like, give off an excuse of why it's like that way. It's always the boyfriend's fault. There's another one. It's always their fault. They're in constant victimization mode, and that's their motive operandi, or what you want to call it. That's what it is. That's what they operate from, is a victimization stance. And then if you are the type of woman, if you're the type of man, and don't tell me it's weak men who they pull in very rich men, and man, they pull in all types of people who might be lonely, right? And pardon me a sec, keep that thought. You may be the type of person. They target good people with love in their hearts, who would probably take their shirt off their back for someone, and they're like a hawk. They're like a snake. They're pulling you in. You see, the reason why covert narcissists are so evil is because it's premeditated, and I do believe it should be a crime put in the law. I believe that people who are searching to destroy somebody's life should be put in jail or a psychiatric ward, separated from people who are trying to get well. That's what these people are like. They target the hero inside of you to want to save them. So a victim in, say, my mind, I'm like, hey, I'll help you do this and do whatever it is, and man, you can't live in that. A relationship has to be equal. It can't, you're always going to have some type of lopsidedness, but if you're both born of God, like I say, you won't have to deal with those kinds of things. Not to say you're not going to face troubles, but what a safe place that is. Before I went to bed last night, I was watching a channel on sleep paralysis and born again Christians, and there was this woman. She was very beautiful. She was really beautiful. I'm like, man, what a lucky guy that is. When Peter talks about the treasure that a born again woman, like, when I come to the earth, will I find faith on the earth? And I think there's probably, I don't know, I don't want to make any statistics, but it's just such a nice thought that there's someone out there that is looking for the same and who wants to make it work, to be a partner, to be a real partner. and to support each other no matter what it is. So what I'm talking about is just the opposite. That's like Christ, Jesus versus the Antichrist. That's literally like it is. Good versus evil. And I don't want to make it in a way that these people cannot do good things and that they're not human beings. I'm not going in that direction. I'm sure that when I'm a counselor, and I'm sure people I've already worked with have been. It doesn't mean you can't help these people. It doesn't mean that these people, I've seen self-aware narcissists, and you've seen a lot of them, and it's good that they're in that position, that they recognize there's something wrong, and if for the rest of their life they talk about being self-aware and they do good in videos and maybe they get donations, and that's fine. I've actually seen one that I believe with all my heart that they believe in God, and I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but I hope for these people, because I don't want anyone to be lost. I don't want anyone to be lost. And that's the view that, you and I should take. But it also should not put me in a position where it whistles sometimes with these dentures. But don't be of the mind that you cannot talk about the overwhelming evil of covert narcissism. So I'm going to talk about the beginning just a bit, and then I guess the end of a relationship. So you're in the beginning and you're willingly ignoring signs like, they've been married a few times, they have more than one children with other people, they talk bad always about all their boyfriends. They can't stop talking about their boyfriends. Please stop. In my case, it was please stop, but it never stopped. I was trying to do my boundaries there, but they got broken over and over. And there were times where I cut them off completely. And then they just hoovered me back in. I didn't know anything then, And it's like, I'm worth it, and you try to pull on your heart. Man, so there are red flags. You're going to see these red flags in the beginning, and I've seen that it is impossible for you to start beginning talking with them and them not display these signs to you. Okay? Love bombing, where you're the best thing in the world to them. If you're a martial arts, you're really good at that. They make you feel very, very special, and it brings a lot of different whatever it is, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine in you, and you have these feelings of I would say sexual feelings and all types of these emotions and love, after a while, and yeah, but if they're slighted, you're going to notice things along the way, strange things that just you don't see with other people. But you won't put it together yet. If they are slighted and you didn't mean to do something and it's, big enough, but you didn't, it wasn't your fault, you didn't, you could have talked it over easily, suddenly they may start breadcrumbing you, and you're like, what's going on? You start justifying a whole bunch of different things. Don't do that. If someone is starting to breadcrumb you, get away, run away. I don't care if that's in borderline or whatever that is. I'm not talking about borderline in this. But they can also be like this too. This is about covert narcissism. Be careful of these signs, especially if someone, like it seems like no matter what you say, like they take away their love from you. They take away their love, they take away the emotion and everything that was, and they flip it on you. And then you're like, I just can't believe this person can be like this. Like, what is this? And you start out, for me, it was like I had to talk to my brother. I didn't want to bother anyone with this, and they will not understand. If you're lucky enough, someone will talk to you all the way through. But with me, it was like, just sitting there listening. It's good to talk to people. You don't want to bring, a relationship into someone else, and get to do that stuff. But if it's off the rails and you don't understand, it's always good to talk to someone. And just because of time, I'm going to just say what would I say? I was going to talk about the end, but I'm forgetting it in the moment what I wanted to say. Trying to think. I have more rest than my last video. That last video I did about how I feel with my pain. I got my sleep. I feel much better. But yeah, that video. I guess I'll step out of the picture for 15 or 20 seconds to see if I can come up with anything else. I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to move and get ready here. But I wanted to do this video to let you know to be careful of these people and to the best you can get away from them. I was talking about slights. You know what? I'll continue. Slights. They will just turn it on its head because they're so offended. They lack emotional intelligence to want to discuss and to negotiate whatever it is to, what's going on here, that type of thing. And they may turn on you. They may go and cheat on you. And if they're breadcrumbing you, you best believe they're doing it because I'm working on myself, right? I'm working on myself. Hear that? You're going to hear that, probably. That's because they're doing something behind your back. Because you wouldn't deal with their BS. And you know what? Just give me a sec. So for me it was a long distance thing. I'd seen this person on a few occasions, but there was a lot of talking. I remember, just give me a sec. I remember a point where like this person had completely turned on me, and this is how evil they are. You could have found out that you have dementia and that it's just beginning. You could find out you have cancer. In my case, I was dealing with what I believe it was imaged too late to find out. Myocarditis. It was my heart. But I developed a permanent gallbladder disorder, a really painful one from the Moderna injection. I went from 125 to 100 pounds, and they were interested in harming me. And I knew in my heart, this person is evil. And when I looked at their Facebook ID picture, it was making me physically sick. The Christ inside me, the Spirit of God was letting me know, and making me sick to my stomach that this person is displaying pure evil. How do you explain this to someone who record what you can? Record what you can. And I hope for the best that you walked away, and I don't make this to harm them, because, you know, with everyone who has a covert narcissist or whatever type of person is stalking you, is because that's what they're going to do afterwards. That's what they're going to do. Try to find anything about you, do everything you can to block them, to get off that type of thing, to be very careful. It's unfortunate. And we live in a time of connectivity where their smartphone is their super weapon. Let the filthy be filthy still. Let them do evil still. Like it says in Daniel. I believe it's Daniel. It's Daniel or Isaiah. I believe it's Daniel. What is your life worth? And it's my hope that I know many people who come out of these things do believe in God. You see evil. You see evil in the flesh. So they thrive off of negative and positive energy, and that's why they call them energy vampires. They suck the energy out of you. And you may look unwell and all that type of stuff. And like I said, I could have died there after that Moderna injection. I was so sick, man. A rash all the way up my neck for a week. You know, I was very sick, and all they were interested in doing was hurting me at that point. Like, it's like spitting on you, you know? It's like, I can't believe a person is like this, but they exist, and they're out in society, and they're targeting people. And I personally don't understand why the law doesn't come down on those types of people. It would probably save quite a few billion. I'm sure it would. They have to be held accountable, right? And don't worry, they will. Karma is a real thing. Karma is not even a real word. It's just God. God doesn't let things slide. It may not occur in your time, and you may not see it, but best believe it. And you know, the main thing anyways is, not that this is your revenge, but they live a bad life. They don't feel good. They don't love themselves. And their identity is very weak. They have a very weak ego. And that's why if you slight them in a little this degree, they may put you in a silent treatment. There's another one. That's what this person was doing to me. And they tried to trick me that I was giving them the silent treatment because I blocked them. But what I was doing was I couldn't tolerate what they were doing. They'll reverse it on you. Am I the narcissist, right? How many of you have been there? Hope this has helped you. I've done my best to explain this. I believe it's a spirit that works through me. I give credit to the spirit because I know many of the times it's not of myself that's able to go into detail like this. But be careful of these people. They are the people with, you know, I have anxiety, you know, and I'm a victim. You know, they're shy, but they're the same. They have the same mind of the overt, but they're covert, which makes it a lot more difficult to spot. But society is catching up. It is, thank God.